We are live. I'm gonna give a couple minutes to see if anybody wants to pull through. And as we just sort of settle into the space, as we are arriving into March. Wow, just wow. I'm shaking my head, but I'm really feeling grateful. Hello, welcome. We are just settling into the space, seeing if anybody wants to pop through, and acknowledging we have arrived into March. I make that face of like, but feeling very grateful, feeling very happy about that. Let me know how you're feeling. Time is just, time is just moving. I'm not mad about it, but it's happening. Let's just take a moment to acknowledge that we are here. It is March. It is the 2nd of March. We've made it throughout the majority of winter, so to speak. And we are moving into that early energy of spring's arrival. So we are, I guess we could say we're in like a transitional space of the year, of the seasons. So that's quite interesting. If you're feeling called, let us know how you're feeling. Let us know where you're at. This live, as we have been intentionally opening each new month with a monthly theme to sort of set the pace for the month. And if you're new here, we are really leaning into the seasons and attuning to nature as our guide for this process, and we are inviting you along with us throughout this journey. Feeling grateful to have arrived at this point. Yes! Feeling that too. I won't lie, before I came on here, I was a little bit like, oh my gosh, okay, it's live time, because I was working on something else. And as I said earlier, the time is just moving. Not mad about it, but just recognizing, wow, time really waits for none of us. So we really must learn how to cultivate our time to work for us in the best way possible. Okay, so it's March. We are here, sprouting new beginnings. That is the momentum. We are moving into that energy of sprouting new beginnings, attuning to nature, feeling the slow stirrings of spring starting to arrive in the northern hemisphere. I went for a walk yesterday and I took some videos of some beautiful bulbs that have already blossomed, which is a really beautiful, nice recognition of the early spring arrival that we are now welcoming. I just love seeing the bulbs start to pop up in the different colors, and the sun is shining more prominently recently. Like, we're actually getting some more sun, which is very welcome. I think a lot of us can appreciate and say that, yeah, we've been waiting a hot sec for this time, so it's nice to be able to enjoy a little more warmth when you step foot outside. Yes. I feel that March is really about centering our movements, because there is that movement happening beneath the surface, that movement that is calling forward spring. The birds are singing, the sun is shining, and the bulbs are blooming. And so what is that movement looking like for you right now? I invite you to think about that. And that is sort of where we'll be tailoring our theme from in this live stream today and for the rest of the month. So, okay, we have waited a few minutes, so we're just going to get into it. For those who are here or for those who are joining us at a later stage, I invite you to get comfortable so we can just really ground into the space, to close your eyes if you're feeling it, or soften your gaze. And take 3 deep breaths in your own time. Visualizing roots extending from your body into the earth and grounding in safety, stillness, and nourishment. Feel the earth beneath your feet or your seat. Feel how you are being held and carried. And trust in your safety, in the space of your stillness, and in the nourishment you've been pouring into yourself up until this point. I invite you to put your hand over your heart. And to acknowledge or say to yourself, winter has held me in its quiet embrace, offering me deep rest, and I am exactly where I need to be. And I invite you back into the space, and I hope that was a really nice way to sort of just ground, take a moment for yourself, acknowledge where you are right now, acknowledge that we are in that transitional phase from winter into spring, and just embrace gratitude for how far we've come. So as we are tuning into sprouting and new beginnings, it's really about, what does your movement look like for you? How do you want to move into March or through March? How are we going to be taking small, actionable steps to nurture ourselves, to nurture our creativity, to nurture our work or any projects that we have going on? These are things that I invite you to think about during this time. Because I feel like it's transitional, we want to really lean into the small yet actionable steps. Because everything moves at its own pace. Everything takes its time to bloom. There is no rush, yet in nature everything is accomplished. So how can we really lean into that wisdom? What small steps do you feel like you can be taking right now to nurture yourself or your creativity? For me, I feel like it's really implementing more of a structured routine that suits the lifestyle I desire. And so one small thing that I can stick to with each day, and sort of just building on that. Wow, I just keep thinking about how the seasons are shifting naturally, but so are we. And March carries the energy of these small awakenings. Like, we're gonna have the spring equinox, right? It's a spring equinox. Oh my gosh, to even say that out loud just feels absolutely crazy. Feels crazy. And it will be the official new year, so to speak, aside from the Gregorian calendar, where things really do start to bloom and we really start to see nature come alive. It's just my favorite time, one of my favorite times of year, one of my favorite transitions. It's just exciting to take note of the little changes that are taking place, but they are small but grandiose. It really has such a huge impact on me, on you, I'm sure, on just the environment, the way it looks, the way it feels, and everyone. I don't know how you're feeling. You're welcome to share your experiences. But when I speak to people, a lot of conversations at the moment, it's just about acknowledging how the sun is shining. Everyone's feeling a little bit more of a pep in their step, that they're receiving more energy. And I think naturally the sun has a lot to do with that. But it's just so nice to acknowledge that these are shifts that we may often overlook as very important, but they're happening, just like the gentle stirrings of spring beneath the surface, just like how things are slowly starting to bloom in their own time. And if we were really to lean into this energy and apply it to ourselves and our work, how can we make the most of this time to suit ourselves? What can we do to really attune into this energy, to make the most of it, to embrace it? I encourage you to utilize this because energy flows and it's available to you. So it could be, an invitation to push forward and try something new. Is there something that you have been feeling called, like, that you want to do? Has a project or an idea been simmering at the surface of your mind that is calling you to take action towards? These are all things to consider. Is there a change of pace that you need to make for yourself? What are some other small, creative yet powerful steps that you can take to nurture your creativity or personal projects? What comes to mind for you? Honestly, I feel like it's the simple things such as having a morning routine, and that, as mundane as it may sound, can make a very, very, very huge impact. For example, or an evening routine. For example, you may like to take time out to read every evening or morning. You may take time to listen to an audiobook or something inspirational that's going to set you up for the day. You may take time to sit in silence, which is a favorite thing of mine. In the morning, before doing anything, whether I'm, meditating specifically or not, I definitely have to sit in silence or do in silence. Before breaking the silence, I just like to honor the fact that I've woken up, I'm here, I'm grateful, and I'm just gonna attune to my body. I'm gonna just communicate with myself and feel how I'm feeling and allow that to land before I start with my day. I think the small simple action really helps to set us up for success because we have met ourselves where we're at, we know how we're feeling, and enables us to build a strong foundation for where we may be headed moving forward. Another gentle way to transition out of winter could be to spend some time journaling, spend some time reflecting over your experiences, over what took place throughout the winter phase. What did you learn? What did life look like? What did life feel like? Just allow yourself to really reflect and sit in that space of, taking from what you have experienced and transmuting that into some wisdom that can be carried forward into the next few months. I find that it's very... what's the word I'm looking for? I want to say revolutionary, actually, because when we really just take this intentional time, it's such a little task that creates huge ripple effects throughout all areas of our life. And I'm here to remind you of the importance of taking it slow, of doing maybe what people may call the mundane things, where really a lot of magic can be found when we show up with consistency, when we show up with intention and integrity to see through whatever it is that we mean to see through in our lives. There's that saying, how you do anything is how you do everything. And honestly, I feel it applies. I definitely find that when I am more erratic and chaotic in my movements, that ripples out into my world, the way that I think, the way that I experience, and probably the way that I show up in a lot of ways too. But when I set myself a goal of getting through simple tasks every day, I feel like I'm setting myself up for success. I've been experimenting with a new structure for my daily routine, and I found that by just ticking off these things every single day, it has really made such a difference in my energy levels. Like, I get to 2-3 p.m. and I'm just like, I've done so much, I don't know what to do with myself. And it's like, okay, I don't know what to do with myself. One, sometimes that can feel a bit like destabilizing. But at the same time, when I acknowledge I don't know what to do with myself, I'm like, oh, okay, I have choice, I have freedom, I don't feel bound to anything. I can choose to relax or to go for a walk or to do something exciting and spontaneous and break up my day a little bit and then return back to my routine. I feel like it gives me the opportunity to treat myself. But as long as we're alive, every day's treat day. Life is a treat. It's a gift to be here. So how can we really allow the juice of life to flow through and nourish us in a way that lights us up? I feel so, like, I just keep thinking about, it's not even spring yet, but like, I'm very much feeling the energy of like, it's spring is here. Because, man, I keep looking outside to just remind me how beautiful it is when the sun is out, the sky is blue. These subtle differences, there's not a cloud in sight, like, hello. Honestly, so grateful. And it's 2:22 p.m. Confirmation. Con-frickin-mation. I don't know if that flowed, but anyways, we're rolling with it. Apologies in advance for all the noise upstairs, but it doesn't faze me, so hopefully it doesn't faze you. What are things that you like to do that spark creativity? For me, it's romanticizing my life a little bit, making that matcha at home, because number one, extortion on the outside, but like, we don't let that get in the way of enjoyment, you know what I'm saying? But just like, I like to sit with my matcha at home, do the whole ritual, all my yogi teas, because they have the little tea codes, and before I read them, I like to kind of sit with my tea, let it cool down, have a sip, enjoy that, and then I like to read my yoga tea quote and take in the message for the day and find a way to apply it. But those just little things, spending time with yourself, Like, you are your best friend. You are your first love. Like, you got to romanticize life with you, because at the end of the day, you're the one who spends all your time with yourself. That is not cute. That is not cute. But yeah, creativity isn't something you wait for, okay? It's something you wake up with. And if you are not waking up with creativity, then something needs to shift in your life. I am here to break it to you. I am here to break it to you. If you are feeling not quite here nor there, if you are feeling uncertain, unsure, if you are feeling the bubbling of energy beneath the surface, like you are seeking some level of change, but you're not sure what that is, you're in the right place. It is now, more than ever, the best time to step forward and start to learn and ask yourselves these questions, so you can identify what is it that is calling you, what is sparking your creativity, what wants to ignite the passion of life through you. I just love it here. I feel like for the first time in a long time, I've been able to maintain a level of joy that is impenetrable, because of the really small things that I'm choosing to implement in my day-to-day that make all the difference. March is for embracing new opportunities, being open to saying yes. How can you say yes more in your life to things that are in alignment with you, by the way, not just to any old thing that comes up? We want full-bodied yeses, otherwise it's a no from me. It's a no from me, hun. So, because of the noise, and we've been here for a little while, sort of just embracing the energy that March, I keep thinking, whenever I want to say March, I keep thinking of spring. Because it is really like that shift. It's like, oh, there's a spring in our step. Oh, something's calling us forward. Like, there's a change in energy, there's a shift, there's a momentum that's brewing. Where are we going? Where are we headed? This is the time to figure it out. We've just had a new moon. You know, really think about what is something that you want to cultivate. What is something new that you're feeling attracted towards? What is attracting you, okay? And how can you take one small action toward that one thing? That is what we really want you to focus on. One small action today that you can take to move forward in your dedicated direction. Next, move your body. Like, let's shake off the winter stillness, because it's movement. It's time for movement. March, we are moving. We are moving forward. We are moving. We are creating momentum. We are vibing, okay? That's the vibe. Saying yes to opportunities. Even if we're feeling a little bit uncertain and unsure, try new things. Explore. Now is the time. Spark that creativity. Build that energy. Build that flow. And most of all, continue to trust the slow growth. Yes, we are leaving the slower phase, the slower season of winter, but we have instilled, hopefully, the awareness that every sprout starts underground, and it takes time for these movements to come to the surface. And like yourself, give yourself time. Give yourself validation for your journey, for your process. That's not going to look like the next person. It's okay. You are on your own path, and however long that takes is just all right. Learn to embrace the slowness, because slow seasons are for sprouting seeds. And learn to trust and have faith, right? We don't always see all the seeds that have been planted, but we know that they're there. So similarly, how can you apply that to your life? How can you trust that the seeds you have planted, for as long as you continue to nourish them, nourish the soil of your garden, nourish your soul, for as long as you continue to nourish yourself, things will flourish when it's time. So remain in your momentum, build that momentum, maintain it, keep going, learn about yourself, explore new things, tap into your creativity. I'm excited on the... Oh, I just remembered something. In the on the topic of creativity, I've got some really fun creative things that I'll be doing this month, which, yay! That's a beautiful reminder. And of course, we have exciting news as usual. As you know, we've been doing these monthly live streams to set the pace for each month, and we've been doing it so far on the 2nd of every month, which actually has turned out to be a Sunday of every month, I believe, and we'll be taking this moving forward unless we say otherwise. And I am working on a community event for this month, so stay tuned for that. Of course, it will be tied to the theme that we have discussed today. But yeah, I feel like I would like to leave it there. Yeah, that ain't cute. So thank you for joining us today and sending you so much love, and I hope this is a march full of movement in your dedicated direction, and we look forward to connecting with you soon. Send this to anybody who you feel might resonate or who will receive the messages in today's live. And yeah, until next time. Mwah! Ciao.